Ah, that's funny. I haven't got the chat up, but look what.
I was just asked what the weather's like.
Quite warm. It's starting to get a bit warm.
No, you can't verbalise it.
I don't know why it hasn't come up with the.
Maybe it comes up on your other screen.
No, it normally comes up in this one.
Oh, don't worry about it. He's only asking about the weather.
Oh yeah. All right. Just hold on a second. Sid's in there too, is he?
I don't know, is he?
I don't know. Well, oh, it was in the messenger chat, not YouTube. It was Sid that was asking the question, was it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, for some reason the chat's not coming up on my StreamYard thing. I don't know what's going on. Oh, hold on.
No. You're getting a bit mixed up. That was messenger chat that he asked him.
Yeah, right. No, now it's right. It has come up. Okay, good. Rightio. Okay, folks, continuing on from where I left off before I had my cup of tea and did a few other little minor things, made a couple of phone calls and got some crap out of the way. Right, I've got it marked out. I've got the steady fixed.
You want to bump me down?
Oh, yes. Well, that was... Okay.
Don't like coming to my lives anymore, Sid? No?
All right, get that tied in there, then go back the other way, form all the fillets and everything. God, it's hard and dry, this stuff. Hard and dry and bouncy. So don't you get too bloody cheeky, Tommy.
Can you stop? Don't. You just move me down off the screen.
Sorry, what was that?
Just move me off the screen.
Oh, yeah, right. Done. Oh,
And Tommy said, yeah, Tommy said you're making it really hard to go to sleep. You know that, don't you?
I'm sorry about that. If you lot over the other side had decent time zones, you'd be right.
How you going, Terry?
And have to slow it down a bit. The advantage of this light is that I can split gears. Right. Let's try that. That's a bit better. Unfortunately, as you take the stresses out of the timber, it starts wandering around. Particularly this dry old stuff. Time for a new piece of wax. It's right behind the control board. Right, got it. Yeah, I blame Tommy for everything, Terry. Don't worry about it.
And Steve, the learner Turner, has just come in.
G'day, Steve. How are you?
How you going, Steve?
by having the other post up behind it, you can work out what shapes. So you'll see me glance up and I'm looking at that post up there while I make the cuts. Basically all I'm doing is drawing with the chisel. That's got it. Now, what I'm doing is I'm pinching the chisel between the thumb and forefinger like that and locking my knuckle onto the rest so the chisel doesn't slide sideways when I make the initial cut.
And Steve would like to know, what's the block of wood with the nail in it?
It's bouncing, you can probably see it, it's vibrating a little bit. So what this does is lock it into a three-cornered thing. Now it gets a little bit burnt there, but if you're on long enough, you'll see me turn that section right off so it doesn't show up. Right. That's 3 beads. These are only about 5 millimetres in. They're just subtle little beads. I'll make them a little bit deeper because when I turn it off to get rid of this burnt bit here, I'll come down the right side then.
Rex has just come in. How you going, Rex?
G'day Rex. Jeez, I'll tell you what, got more knots in it than a scout camp, this thing.
Yeah, this is the big lathe, Rex. He's turning veranda posts. He's got the old one in the background there, the bluey greeny kind of one. That's the older one that he's got to copy. I don't want to trouble you too much there, Robbo, but they were mainly watching your shoulder.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'll move it around a bit. This tripod's got more adjustments on it than right.
Rex, he's got it. That's his steady rest, and it's just a black mark, black burn mark from the wood touching it. That'll get turned down later.
Whoops. Spat it out. I don't need it now anyway, so.
When you finish those cuts,
Sorry?
can we go back? When you finish those cuts, can we go back to tailstock cam?
I'll just move it now. It's easy enough to move. Ah!
You gotta warn people, man.
Know what you want?
Yeah.
Now, just get rid of this little burnt bit out of here. Now, the observant ones will notice there that I was actually cutting uphill, but on a long taper like this, you get a better shape if you can just move uphill a little bit with it, because you're working into the timber, not away from it. If you take a fine cut with a sharp chisel, it'll leave a good finish on it. It won't tear it. Now, just to complete the finish properly and even out all the lines. use the
Mike's just come
chisel.
in.
Sorry?
Mike's just come in.
G'day, Mike.
I'd say the Robert Sorby texturing tool, mini one, Rex, but Rex has asked, what's your opinion on texturing tools, and is it worth buying?
Yes, it is if you do it. I personally like the Robert Sorby mini texturing tool I find it gives a better job. This is just my opinion. I find that it gives a better job than the bigger one for some reason. I don't know why, but it seems to give a much finer sort of detail. Terry's probably a good one to ask about that, actually, or Mike. I think Terry's fairly familiar with most of the texturing tools, so. But I have greater success, I must admit, with the mini one than I do with the bigger one. That's if you want rotary cutters, like if you want to do cross hatching and things like that, then I never had much success with the Elf, but the Wagners I found very, very good. So it depends on what sort of texturing you want to do. I don't do much texturing, I must admit. I don't worry about them, Rex. Like, this timber was actually supplied by the customer. It's 30 years old. It's cypress. It's technical name Cypress macrocarpa. It is renowned for splitting. So, again, he didn't want them machined. These are straight off the saw. They've been sawn. You can actually see the saw cuts in them. And he wasn't perturbed about it, so he can fix them up later if he likes. Not my choice of timber, unfortunately. As I said before, it's got more knots in it than Scout Camp. Okay, find some sandpaper now. Right, take the steady back out of the way. Slow the speed down a bit. And start sanding.
All right, Terry's off to bed. See you later, Terry.
Yeah, see you later, Terry. Must be getting fairly late for you.
Yeah, nearly 1:45.
Right.
Not to take
Right. Phew. Now this is where reverse comes in handy. Much easier standing these big posts in reverse than this going forward, because you can put the paper down on top and hang onto it with one hand. And if anything happens, it just flicks out the back. Whereas if you do it in the normal way, you've got to come in underneath, so that it does flick out the back as well. But it takes a lot more effort to hang onto it. Like I say, this stuff is mongrel stuff to turn. But that's life. Yeah, a little bit more. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but it's very prone to chipping out. Plus we've got bark inclusions down in there as well. Gonna have to switch on the other extractors, I think. All right, let's have a look and see what that looks like. Now it's looking better. Much as I hate doing that, but sometimes you can't avoid it. Fraction more. All right.
Smoko, is it?
No, it's just about lunchtime, but I'll finish this one. I'll get another one in before I have lunch.
But it's all right.
No, that's paint actually, Mike. It's painted green. I'll show you something in a minute. It hasn't got a real good patina on it, I can assure you. Hey, you mongrel.
You need a camera that just follows you around, you know, and follows you go left and right when you go left and right.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I need cop cam.
Yeah,
One of those chest cams, you know.
yeah.
No, Rex, I don't paint them. The owner does that. The timber.
I'm sure we could organise to have a drone hover above your head.
Yeah. Yeah, one of those follow drones.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about, Mike. Just hold on a second. Like, I'll get this post out of the way. You're talking about the two big logs down the back. They're all telephone poles or power poles, depending on what they were used for. Right.
Rex wants to know how much that chain will lift.
They're rated at 2 ton. So with two of them on, they can lift easily lift 4 ton. And sometimes I've actually had up to 4 ton on the lathe itself.
Those chunks of wood that he's got the old veranda post sitting on, Mike, that'd look good turned, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they do come up nicely, actually. That's what I used to turn seats out of. If you go back to some of my earlier videos, I think there's one there. I'm not sure, but no, we used to turn them for an artist. I'll turn the camera around and turn the lights on so you can see what I'm doing up there.
Ah, is that again?
Yeah, I know. Sorry about that. I'll zoom it back out again. Right. I'll just turn some lights on because it's a bit dark.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I like that room off to the right there. Oh.
Yeah, you'd love to get loose in there, wouldn't you?
I'd be happy to get locked in there. Hey, Mike was saying the old poles have too many chemicals in them.
So, what was that?
He said the old telegraph poles have too many chemicals in them.
No, not in Australia. They only did the bottoms where they went in the ground with creosote. Up above that, they're all natural. But the interesting thing about the telephone poles and that is that they only used about 3 or 4 species of timber. And I once asked the SEC why they only used that sort of timber, and it was because it doesn't attract lightning strikes like a lot of the other timbers do. Which I found rather interesting.
Rex is being naughty now. Rex
Who?
said you should hoist me up onto that so I can't touch anything.
Yeah. One of the blokes who used to work for me, occasionally of a Saturday or Sunday, if we had a big job on, he'd bring the kids down with him. He only worked casual, so any days he worked, he got sort of extra money for. And he had 8 and a 9-year-old sons. And we used to put them on the big logs because we'd bring them in from the other end there and stack them up and then put the chain blocks on them and run them into Henry down the end here. One of the kids said, "Oh, can I have a ride?" So we put him on, and after that we couldn't keep the kids off him. put them on the logs. They thought it was really good fun. That was before they found Nintendo, I think.
I bet they hustled out Dad to come back to your workshop.
Sorry, what's that? Oh yeah, yeah. They used to love coming down of a weekend.
See, Rex, if you see that there's a black shelf and in the distance on the right, and then there's a wooden shelf above it on the door. Well, that's a door to a very interesting little room. Okay, I'm sure if you knew what was in that room, you'd want a little bit out of it too. It's
Right on.
just it's so packed up with stuff. It's very well organised, but it's just got, you open up one door like he did. He opened up his doors for where he keeps his tools, and then he's got another door behind that, and there's probably another one behind that.
Yeah, that's the tool room in there. Yeah, Jay'd love to get in there, but just to show you what Jay's talking about, I'll swing it round this way because you weren't there when I did the tour this morning. Right, these fold up here, then they fold out here. I'll put it back on wide lens. Wait on. That's some of my chisels. Go down again. Wait on. Got to loosen off this one here. Right. That's one lot of chisel racks.
Rex is wondering if you'll show us in that other room.
No, I can't get a camera in there, unfortunately, but that's where all my power tools are, my routers and things like that. Then this cupboard here folds out. And that's the other one on this side. That's all the texturing stuff and colouring stuff and just general crap. I don't know if you can see down the bottom there. Wait on.
No, you got to move it to the left a little bit.
Yeah, wait on. In there, let's see. That's vacuum chuck there. Power, 3-phase power points, bits and pieces. That's that. But the shelf up from that's the one that's interesting. That's more colouring and texturing stuff. And then, of course, we've just got a couple of burls in under there. Wait on.
Yes, Rex, I can pretty much guarantee he did build them all. Maybe not the metal.
There's the one burl. There's another burl. And I've got quite a few outside as well. So, yeah, and that's the headstock. That's the headstock of Henry.
They would have fit into the car nicely, those ones.
Oh, yeah, they would have actually. What a shame. Yes, I built the whole lot. Yeah, I'm an ex-mechanic by trade and diesel fitter. And when we did our trade, we had to do 12 months of welding and fitting and machining as well. So I've got a metal turning lathe out there. Yeah, I've got MIG welders and plasma cutters and arc welders, and there's not many things that I can't fix or make myself, so I do. Mainly because I don't trust a lot of people to do it. Plus, they cost a fortune sometimes. Normally, I mark all these out at once, but I'm being a bit slack.
Unfortunately for you, Rex, I've turned plenty of Burl already, so haha.
Now what I'm doing now is just punching a hole in for the centres. Gonna be a bang here in a second. That'll be the phone. Hello. Hello. Wait on. Just hold on a second. You're very, very soft. Hello. Yeah, Cobb and Co, yes. Sorry? That's right. Yes. Yeah, you can call me Robbo, but I'll save you a hell of a lot of time, all right? I'm basically no, just listen to me, don't interrupt. Now, I'm basically retired, all right? So I'm not interested in web pages or anything else right at this particular time. So I'll save you the time and energy and effort and my money probably. So I'll see you later. Bye. Bloody drongos.
That was an interesting phone call.
Oh. Yeah. Good morning. My name is John. I'm conducting business thingos to see interest in websites and things like that. And then they won't shut up when you try to tell them anything.
I know. I heard you yelling. I had to have a bit of a laugh. And Mike's laughing in the chat too. So.
No, unfortunately the phone rang when I was down there. I didn't have time to go back to the computer and mute it. So we get about 4 or 5 of those a bloody week about wanting to do this and that and
Yeah, I think it's just certain like whatever you got your phone through or whatever, but
well,
Amber gets it.
Yeah, go on.
But Amber gets it a lot with Optus, and I don't get it at all with Vodafone.
No, well, see, most of my phones are with Telstra. Well, they're all with Telstra. But I blame Telstra because one of my email addresses is the one that Telstra gave me, and I get a lot of garbage back through that. Now, the only way that anybody would get that is by buying the list off Telstra. So I reckon
Yep.
they're flogging the email lists and everything else. Hello, dear. Yeah, about 5 minutes, okay? I just want to get this log loaded first. Thank you.
Yeah, Optus sent Amber a message a couple of years ago and said that they're now starting to sell off third-party stuff, you know?
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
like
Trying to swing the camera back around before you go, eh?
it's very, very hard when you're in a business not to have your phone number or anything up. So a little bit of web searching soon finds your name and your phone number and everything, and your email address, of course. Now, 20 years ago, I used to lift these in.
Can you turn your camera around?
Yeah, why not? Just while I'm down that end, I'd got to find out where we are first. Right. Now, I've punched holes in the end there to get the centres roughly. Now, as I said, 20 years ago, I used to lift these in by myself, but old age is catching up with me.
Yes.
Now, what we do is line up the points and just sit it into the hole that I've punched in there. And we don't tighten it in, we just bring it up. This is mainly for Rex's benefit. Now we take the block and tackle off. And it's just supported on the points so that it can rotate quite easily without turning the headstock or anything around at the moment. Now, what we've got to do is centre the post itself. So where we start turning, we centre it. We use a skew chisel. I'll have to do it this way probably.
Rex says, thank you, Robbo.
I've done it on other videos, but you just get it round until the point just touches all four corners. Geez, that's close. You don't often fluke it in like that. And then you tighten the tailstock to stop it slipping out again. So now down to the other end. Just pick up the point. Hold on. Change hands so as you can see. So it just nicks the corners of the timber. Oh, jeez. Woohoo! Came in dead centre. And then you tighten the tailstock up. Now with it on the slow speed, you probably didn't notice me change the speed back before, but I took it out of reverse and made sure it was running forward and dropped the speed back one and started up, make sure it runs properly, like so. Now we can mark out where we've got to start turning and start turning it back to the same thing again. After it's run for a minute or so, always check the tailstock, You keep a constant eye on the tailstock all the time that you're working, particularly with big things like this. All right, I've been summoned into lunch, so I better go and get it or I'll miss out. So I shall bid you all, well, good afternoon from Australia, this side of Australia anyway. So thanks for coming in. Hope it's been entertaining. I'll probably be on again later on today or tomorrow. I'll just, whenever I feel like it, I'll just turn everything on and chat. I actually enjoy having people to chat to in the workshop because it's pretty quiet out there sometimes. All right. Thank you all for coming in. Thanks, Jay. See you later.
Yeah, no worries.
Bye.
See you, everyone.
End broadcast this time, Robbo.